So they have finessed this methodology of how to bring the masses out onto the streets. And this is what is about to occur. As the masses go out onto the streets, the ones who are going to be targeted are the pro-American regimes in the Arab world. The objective? To get one or more of these regimes to fall. Television will now get to work around the world. CNN leading the pack. And the media around the world will now be used to portray an impending scenario in which, like the domino effect, governments around the world of Islam, they will claim, are now going to fall. And the world of Islam is rising up now. And one-eyed Muslims, of course, are going to believe it. The world of Islam is now going to rise up, and all these governments are going to be swept away. And authentic governments representing the Muslim masses will now emerge. And therefore the Jews are going to have their throats cut. This is going to be the most dangerous moment in the entire life of the world of Jews. The media will portray it. And now, in the months to come, we can expect that there will be free and fair elections. And guess what's going to happen? The Islamic parties are going to win the election, yeah. And the Islamic parties are going to form the government, yeah. And then Israel is going to smile even more. Because once the Islamic government comes to Egypt, what's going to happen with Gaza? Can you imagine? The Islamic government in Egypt will have to support the Muslims of Gaza. Not only political support, but material support. How should the Sharia be enforced? Is there such a thing as a constitutional sunnah? Give us a moment to spend some time on this subject. Yes, there is a constitutional sunnah. And the constitutional sunnah is linked with the enforcement of the Sharia. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not create us all as one people. No. وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَجَعَلَكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً. If Allah had so wished, He could have created us as one people. No. Rather, He created us with multiplicity, with diversity. إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَى وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إلى آخر الآية. And so mankind was created with multiplicity. And that multiplicity was also the cause of different laws being sent down. لِكُلٍّ جَعَلْنَا مِنْكُمْ شِرْعَةً وَمِنْهَاجًا. So different laws were sent to different people. But the last one was sent to Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, the Sharia. Is the Sharia to be enforced upon all of mankind? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Well then, on whom is the Sharia to be enforced? The answer? On those who accept the Sharia. On those who willingly submit to the Sharia. Those are the ones on whom the Sharia is to be enforced. Ikhwanul Muslimin should first return to the Quran to recognize that Egypt is not one ummah. No, it is not. At the very first page of the book of Egypt are the Jews, the Christians. And these Christians in Egypt, according to Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, are our kith and kin. For Ummul Mu'minun, the mother of the believers, came from them. From their midst is one of the mothers of the believers. And so be kind to them, said Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. So you are not one ummah in Egypt. What is the function of a constitution? When we turn to the constitutional sunnah, we get the answer. A constitution is needed when you have different people who want to come to live together. Then you need a constitution. If you have only one homogeneous people who have a law of their own, you do not need a constitution. Their law is sufficient for them. It is when you have different people who want to live together as an ummah, a community, only then do you need a constitution. Forget what comes from Oxford and Cambridge and Sorbonne. Listen to the Sunnah. Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam recognized the diversity of the population of Medina. He recognized that there were different Jewish tribes. Some of them at war with each other. There were different pagan Arab tribes. And then there were those who had become Muslim. And then there were the Muhajirun from Mecca. And when he arrived in Medina, guess what he did? Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam spent about 7 months in patient negotiation. Not in a constitutional conference on the stage of history with debates going on in public. That's not wise. No. He entered into private discussions with each of the different tribes, each of the different groups, and negotiated a consensus. You cannot have a constitution without consensus. Ikhwan, constitutions are not established with referendums. You do not establish a constitution with an election. What nonsense. In order for a constitution to be established, you must have consensus. The Christians walked out of the constitution discussions in Egypt, and you still went ahead with it. Have you forgotten the Sunnah? Have you forgotten the Sunnah? Is this the example you are setting for the rest of the world of Islam? There are voices around the world today cautioning you for your recklessness. We hope and pray you will not be offended by our words, that you will still consider us to be your brothers, and that you will heed our advice and warning. We apologize to the Christians of Egypt. Yes, we apologize to you, because this is an embarrassment for us. This is not the way. This is reckless, and this is misguided.